Is it too late for New York to do isolation and containment? Are they just like stuck with mitigation? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Governor Cuomo was speaking about how, moving forward, we've got to figure out a way to get out of this, but really we can't do anything until there's a vaccine. Why is he not talking about containment? Tom asks rhetorically. Well, the reason why he's not talking about containment is because it's too late for New York City to do containment. There's too many people infected. It's certainly too late for downstate New York to talk about containment. Upstate New York, probably they would have no problem talking about containment. But downstate New York, no chance, number one. Number two, for containment to work, and this is where, Charlie Baker, the Republican governor of Massachusetts, is taking a huge chance here, in part because, the virus does not respect state borders. And you can't lock down a state, and there aren't, state patrols at the borders. But Charlie Baker is trying to get enough test kits to do enough testing, and he's enlisted this group of 1,000 public college health students to try to do contact tracing and try to contain this thing, so that you might end up with cities in Massachusetts where there's literally no coronavirus. And they can go back to normal until somebody shows up who's sick. Now, that's going to be tough. And it may require China-like draconian measures where they literally, if somebody violates the order, they drag them off. Which probably should have been done for weeks with some of these, right-wing churches that refuse to preach the teachings of Jesus and instead are preaching the teachings of Trump. But in any case, that's what it's going to take if we're going to do containment. And there's large parts of the United States where containment would still be possible. You could probably do containment right now in Kansas and in Wyoming, and it's like any place you don't have a major outbreak already. Now, here's the problem. There are, right now, when you look at New Orleans and you say, oh my God, there's a major outbreak in New Orleans, they've overwhelmed the hospitals, it's a total mess. Well, that major outbreak reflects exposures that had happened 3 and 4 weeks ago. Well, between 2 and 4 weeks ago. You got basically 2 weeks from the time you're exposed until the time you're sick. And then you got basically a week from the time you get sick until you get so sick you need to go to the hospital. So that's 3 weeks. And then from the time you go to the hospital until the time you become, either get out of the hospital or become a death statistic, that's another week or two. So the entire process is like 3 to 5 weeks. So what we're looking at in New Orleans right now, what we're looking at in New York City right now is not what happened last week or the week before. It's what happened 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. So if we're going to try and do containment in the United States, and we're going to base it on, okay, we've got a place where the coronavirus hasn't really exploded yet. All we know is that it hasn't really exploded yet 3 weeks ago. But what's happened in the meantime? I mean, keep in mind, in New York, it was a birthday party and a religious event. In New Orleans, it was Mardi Gras. In Florida, it'll be spring break. So it's a matter of tracking it down. Now, all of this comes in the context of this incredible New York Times report that was published over the weekend that blow by blow by blow details all the times, literally going back to November of last year, and then December of last year, and then January of this year, and then February of this year, and then March of this year, when Donald Trump was warned, when they begged with him, when they pleaded with him, when a bunch of scientists, operating under, this email chain that they called Red Dawn, reference to the old Tom Clancy movie with Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen in it. It's just amazing. They were laying all this stuff out.